So every day, y'all, we have just an all-out assault on our system of immigration in this country. And it's just by the day, it's gotten more and more horrific. So let's start with this. The Trump regime is trying to expand immigration fees. This is what the House Republicans are currently working on. So what they want to do is charge $1,000 for an asylum application fee, which would be the first in U.S. history, by the way. Of course, by the way, people who are seeking asylum, they got nothing but the fucking clothes on their back, right? I mean, they're escaping a horrific scenario, political violence, gang violence, whatever it may be, and to charge, they don't have the money, right? It's that simple. They don't have the money. What's that saying that's on the Statue of Liberty? Basically, the Trump regime approach and the Republican approach is like the exact opposite of what it says on the Statue of Liberty. That's why there was a French politician who said, maybe a few months back, like, I think they should return the Statue of Liberty. Because clearly they don't fucking believe in liberty, right? This isn't a tough one. So, $1,000 asylum application fee, $1,000 fee for individuals paroled into the U.S., $3,000 $500 fee for sponsors of unaccompanied children, $2,500 penalty for sponsors of unaccompanied children who fail to appear in court, $550 fee for work permits. Jesus Christ. $550 for work permits. Again, like, usually these people who come in here, they don't have money. They don't have money. So really what this is an attempt to literally, like, zero immigration. We want no immigration. And by the way, as a direct result of that, what's happening? The economy's taking a massive hit. I mean, there's all these pictures and videos and stories of, like, fruit and or vegetables, I should say, rotting in fields because they don't have the labor to pick it. And so now in places like Florida, they're going, hey, we got to get rid of these pesky child labor laws because we need somebody to do this work. So why not have 14-year-olds be able to work overnight shifts? It's get rid of all the immigrants, bring back child labor, make them do, like, very difficult, backbreaking work at ridiculous hours of the day. And this is the end result of all this, bro. Again, I don't think they realize this has so many cascading consequences for the way our system works. All right, but we're just getting warmed up. So this one is crazy. After ICE agents raid the wrong Oklahoma location, the immigrants they were looking for used to live there but had moved. They still force minor girls outside in their underwear, raid the home, and take the family's money and electronics. I had read also that it was raining outside. So forcing little girls outside in their underwear in the rain. This is Trump's Gestapo. This is ICE. And then they steal the family's money and electronics and raid the home, even though it was made clear to them, we are not the people you are looking for. They used to live here. Now we live here. We're not the people. Young American girls forced outside in their underwear while it's raining, and all of their shit gets stolen. You tell me who the criminals are. I don't think this is a particularly difficult question. Obviously, the thug gangster criminals here are the ICE agents. These people are acting in an extrajudicial way on a regular basis. We've heard stories of judges in immigration court dismissing an immigrant's case, and then ICE comes in wearing balaclavas with no badges, rounding this person up and kidnapping them anyway. No, people, the abolish ICE people, nobody has ever been more vindicated than the abolish ICE people. Nobody. Because they're the Gestapo. That's what they are. This story alone says Gestapo. That's what it says. Every day we get another fucking horror story about what they're doing. They arrested a judge. ICE agents arrested a judge because the judge was actually upholding the law when the administration was not. All right, let's look at this. So, border czar and resident drunk Tom Homan says that at least 20 million illegal aliens are in the United States, including 700,000 with criminal charges walking the streets. So this guy, I love this guy's Twitter feed, by the way. This guy's an immigration expert, Aaron Reichlin Melnick. He says the following. First off, the 20 million number is wrong. But even if it was right, that would suggest that 96.5% of the undocumented population has no criminal record at all, pretty much erasing the entire narrative of they're all criminals. So do you understand that point? These people are so stupid that they go out there and make an argument and contradict their other claims, don't realize they're doing it. that these numbers are fake, but even if these numbers were true, what you're saying is 96.5% of the people who come to this country are not criminals at all. God, they're so dumb and they're so sloppy. And in the case of Tom Homan, he is fucking drunk off his ass cheeks on a daily basis, homie. God damn. Have you heard that guy talk? Have you heard that guy talk? In fact, here, I'll play it for you because he always sounds like this. He always sounds like he's fucking 7 gins deep.
First of all, how many illegal aliens I think in the United States? At least 20 million. He said, where'd you come up with that number? We've been speaking about 12 million for 20 years. We know we got 10.5 that we know of came to the border. How many don't we know of? I talked about known gotaways at 2 million. How many unknown gotaways we have? Like between the Big Bend sector in Texas where there's no technology, how many 1,000 people dig across through there? We wouldn't know. We would know now. But, you know, so I would venture over 20 million. But your question is, last count, last I looked, there was about 700,000 illegal aliens with criminal charges walking the streets of this country. 700,000.
By the way, again, that's not true. But even if it were true, then why the fuck are you deporting 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds and 7-year-olds? And there was a 4-year-old, with cancer that was deported the other day. Why are you deporting them? Why are you rounding up people like Mahmoud Khalil, who simply led an anti-genocide protest, and now he's indefinitely locked up as a result of it? Why are they locking up Rumeysa Ozturk, who wrote a mild op-ed criticizing Israel and now also is locked up indefinitely? Why are you going after Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who has no criminal record, zero, zilch? Why are you doing that? Why are you going after, what's his name? Andres, the gay makeup artist who's 19 years old, who was shipped to a slave labor camp in El Salvador? If there's all these fucking criminals, oh, we're going after the criminal. Why are story after story we're learning you're not getting criminals? Because the reality is there actually aren't that many criminals. That's a lie. And by the way, it's not a novel idea that the Trump administration figured out. Oh, I got an idea. Let me deport the violent criminal undocumented immigrants. Idiot, that's what all the administrations do. If anything, this is the one administration that is not doing it because you're too busy rounding up innocent people. Under Biden, go look it up. Go look it up. This is a fact that always blows everybody's mind. But the numbers are there. If I asked you who deported more people, Trump in his first term or Biden in his term, the answer is Biden, and I believe he doubled the deportations. So the Democrats open borders, bro. Biden open borders, bro. That is not true. Not even close to true. So again, I like this tweet too. Ready? Over 100 million U.S. citizens have criminal records. That's a third of the population. So this made-up statistic would suggest these people are orders of magnitude more law-abiding than the average citizen. So they can't even get their propaganda straight, bro. They can't even get their propaganda straight. The numbers are a lie. They're totally made up. But also, even if you take their numbers at face value, that means they're way more law-abiding than American citizens, and you're saying 96.5% of them have no criminal record whatsoever. Don't take my word for it. I've cited it before on the show. There's a Cato Institute study which dives into this exact question, because Republicans say all the time that immigrants are more likely to be criminals, right? Cato Institute study, a libertarian think tank, they looked into this. They found very clearly both documented immigrants and undocumented immigrants are much less likely to be criminal than Americans born in this country. That's what they found. That's what the data shows. These people don't give a fuck about data because, as I always point out, they are right-wing postmodernists. They are storytellers. They are narrativizers. That's what they are. They have their story. They stick to it. They don't care about the details. They don't care about the data. They don't care about the facts. And they act in an impulsive, fascist way. Okay, I'm still not done, though. So Kyle Cheney says the following. DHS, Department of Homeland Security officials, tells court that agency leadership diverted 10 to 20 employees to run 1.3 million names of foreign students through database that tracks criminal charges. It took 2 to 3 weeks. There were fewer than 6,400 hits. 6,000. So again, foreign students, they were like, let's go through all 1.3 million. Let's find the criminals. Let's kick them out. That's what's going on here, right? There were fewer than 6,400 hits, which means that only 0.004% of these foreign students had a record, but wait for it. But thousands were for charges that never led to convictions or were dropped. This is the group whose F1 status was revoked by ICE, many of whom also had their State Department visas revoked. So do you understand that? So they're doing this, bro, we're going to find out that like half of them are criminals, bro. They run the numbers. Oh, it's not 50%, it's 0.004%. But even that number is not true because most of these had no conviction, meaning they're not guilty. They're not guilty. And this was the group that they decided en masse, let's just axe them all. Let's just get them all out of here. If you don't see how they're destroying this country yet, I don't know what to tell you. And by the way, one of the big side effects, as you all know, is this thing called brain drain. Where now this was the place, especially when it came to like science and technology and research, America was the place where people wanted to go. They desperately wanted to go. Now, well, there's a war on science now, and there's a war on immigrants now. So what do you expect to happen? These people are now going to Canada, and they're going to the EU, and many of them are going to go to China, right? Because, hey, those are the places now that actually value science and research and technology and are not going to send me to an El Salvador concentration camp because they don't like my immigration status. I mean, we are witnessing a regime that is cutting pediatric cancer research. They've killed all of these studies, like multi-year long, sometimes decade-long studies on problems we've been trying to solve, medical issues we've been trying to solve. They just killed them willy-nilly, like nothing happened. Here's another one. So this is from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Everyone should be on notice. If you're a guest in our country, act like it. Our robust social media vetting program to identify national security and public safety risks never stops. USCIS is on watch to find anything online that poses a threat to our nation and our way of life. So again, robust social media vetting program. What does that mean? If you post something that's pro-Palestine and anti-genocide, if you criticize Trump a little too aggressively, what they're saying is we vet your social media and we'll kick you out. Guys, this group of people who they're going after, these are legal immigrants. Green card holders and visa holders are legal immigrants. And what they're saying is, if we don't like what you're saying on social media and you're a legal immigrant, we're still going to deport you. I was sounding the alarm aggressively about how bad a Trump second term would be. I put my record up against anybody else's. But even I could not have fully gotten across to you just how abysmal and disturbing and America destroying this regime would be. And then finally, you guys are going to love this. Justice Department halts funds for programs for victims of hate crimes, child abuse, school violence, and more. CBS News has obtained a list of 365 federal grant programs halted this week by the Justice Department, disrupting programs to help victims of hate crime and sex trafficking, children who've suffered violence, and refugees. The department also paused programs aimed at reducing school shootings, efforts to combat domestic terror, and an Emmett Till cold case initiative in the Southeast. At least some of the grants were halted in memos sent Tuesday to nonprofit organizations by the Justice Department. The memos alerted program operators that the projects no longer effectuate Justice Department priorities. The cancellation of the federal grants caused disruptions at some nonprofit programs, according to organization leaders who spoke with CBS. 365 federal grant programs to help victims of hate crime, victims of sex trafficking, children who suffered violence, refugees, mass shootings at schools. Here we have a guy who was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, according to Epstein on literal audio tape. And he decided, well, let's cut off the program that helps stop human sex trafficking. If this was any Democratic president, do you have any idea how much the right wing would never shut the fuck up about this? Do you have any idea? You would never hear the end of it. The year would be 2037, and some right-wing hack would be yelping away and bitching and moaning and saying, oh, remember when Joe Biden killed the program that stops human sex trafficking, bro? Remember that? Gee, I wonder why, bro. Could it be because he's got a relationship with Epstein, bro? And we got Trump with 78 different pictures with Jeffrey Epstein. We got the first time Trump and Melania had sex was on the Lolita Express, which is Jeffrey Epstein's elite CEO pedophile plane. He's been on the jet a bunch of times. Virginia Giuffre, who just committed suicide, you know where Jeffrey Epstein picked her up? Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago. So the guy who was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, the guy who was in office when Epstein died and when Virginia Giuffre died, he cuts off the funding to the program that prevents human sex trafficking. I think that says it all, y'all. I don't think I need to say another goddamn word. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.